Coming up on this episode of the Nerf This podcast, Heroic Tavern Brawl announced, Starcraft ProLeague, the longest running eSports league, discontinued. Europe and America and Asia's Hearthstone last call winners qualify for Blizzcon. That's a mouthful. Hungrybox quits his day job to go full-time Smash, and Ice gets signed by Luminosity, and World's Quarters and Semis discussion because we missed a week on this episode of the Nerf This podcast. Let me turn down this music real quick. Welcome everybody to this episode of the Nerf This podcast. This is episode 8. We should be on episode 9, but we missed a week. I'm not going to say why. Nobody's going to say why. It was nobody's fault. We're not pointing fingers at anybody. I didn't tweet about it. Did I tweet about it? I don't remember if I tweeted about it. But anyway, it's not a big deal. What is a big deal is that there's a train.
Fucking Are you kidding me with the timing? For fuck's sake. Of course,
I am joined by 3 co-hosts today. One is Train. You've already heard from him. More on him in a minute. The second is Kenny. Hi, Kenny.
Hi.
How you doing, Kenny?
Stupid. I'm doing all right. How are you?
I'm doing fan-goddamn-tastic. And we're also joined by resident league expert and totally not podcast skipper, Samantha.
I'm sorry, I have a social life. If it makes you feel any better, it kind of went bad, so yay.
What have we learned, kids, is that video
Social
games...
Stay inside, play video games.
Video games are certainly more important than a social life. Hey, Train. Train wanted to butt into the conversation.
See, Train agrees. Train fucking agrees. Okay.
This is bullshit.
I'm just
trying to do a show.
Like, how's that train?
She'd be like, are you clairvoyant or something? What the hell? Sammy joining us from the Great North. Kenny joining me from, a little bit that way. And I'm joining me from my room. So, yeah, let's just do it. You want to just do it? We should just do it.
Phrasing.
What the hell? Are we Shia LaBeouf here? Fuck.
Do it! Just fair warning is I am still a little sick, so if I sound nasally, and I did start another podcast this way. I swear I don't get sick every week. I'm just, my body is on...
That's a lie, he does.
My body is on
what?
a terrible, I want to hurt Corey in every possible way I possibly can road. And Kenny gets to feel the worst of it because he gets to fill in an actual real human job when I'm sick, so it's beautiful.
I get to make all the money, you don't?
Hey, I still get to make money because there's something called sick time. Whoever thought that was a good idea, where I get paid to feel like a bag of ass, I'm cool with that. Keep doing that.
I'm good with it too, because I get more money.
Yeah, I'm cool with you getting more money. You need more money. Everybody send Kenny them. Okay, don't even subscribe to this channel. Don't even follow this channel. Just directly send Kenny your money. And you can send that to coreyberry2008@gmail.com. Anyway.
I was going to say, that ends up going to you, sir, so it doesn't come to me.
I don't know what you're talking about. Hey, guess what? Heroic Tavern Brawl was announced. So, that is cool. I'm just trying to deflect. Heroic Tavern Brawl announced for Hearthstone, in case... did Sammy just turn off her microphone because she's like, fuck Hearthstone. Anyway.
Coughing, that's why. See,
I'm
she
trying not
respects...
to,
I wish I had a cough
blow
switch.
eardrums out. I'm sorry.
So, Kenny, I'm just going to get you to fucking launch into what you think about Heroic Tavern Brawl, because I know I have a few things to say, but I want to hear what you have to say about it.
I wasn't overly a fan looking over all of the stuff for it. I find it just makes it a more, in a sense, a more competitive arena.
Yeah.
Which just means all of the really good players that are higher ranked are just going to do as they always usually do and just roll face because it's going to count less on other things, and it's going to be based on what cards you have. So if you don't have all the cards you need for a thing, then to throw in the money for it is kind of, especially 1,000 gold. It's not a whole lot of people usually sit on a lot of gold, whereas the people who have all the cards and who stream it on a constant basis always have enough gold to be like, hey, I do well enough, I'll get my money back.
Yeah, it's sort of so what I thought is that this mode is particularly for streamers, because there was a long stretch where streamers were well known for Arena because they had the gold and the money to spare because they play this game full time. And Heroic Tavern Brawl, I do feel, is catering a little less to that to a degree, but still, like you said, catering more to the people who have so much time and money to spend on this game that they can throw all of their money into this giant list of cards that can just dominate the entire game. Mid-range shaman. Sorry. I have something in my throat. I'm sick.
Anyway.
So. Yeah, no, I totally... I get where you're coming from, but I am actually excited about this because I have a lot of cards. I have been playing this game since Classic. I know you have a good collection of cards. It isn't necessarily that we're going into it wanting to be the best. We just want to see how well we'll do. And yes, the 1,000 gold is a steep price point for us, but you can also enter it with $10 if you really have that laying around somewhere. But 1,000 gold, and it's not a consistent thing. It isn't like Arena. It is only for 1 week, so you can just throw 1,000 gold in for 1 week, and then over the next few weeks build up another 1,000. And try it again when it comes in back into the rotation of the Tavern Brawl, because of the information that's come out so far, the Heroic Tavern Brawl will not take place, or it will take over the Tavern Brawl for the week.
Yeah,
and that I think that makes perfect sense because it spaces it out enough. Say it happens once a month, you will have that entire month to save up another 1,000 gold, and try again next time.
True, but I find that the what you get out of it kind of is lackluster, especially when it's based on the newest. The packs are from the newest set only, being Whispers of the Old Gods.
Did they say that it is the newest set only?
Yes.
Oh, interesting. I actually didn't read that part. But yeah, it does seem a little lackluster, the rewards you get at the low end. So if you get anywhere below, say 5... Wins. Huh?
Well, anything below... really anything below 7 or 8 wins kind of is almost lackluster in itself.
Yeah, because it doesn't make up how much gold you spent.
No.
So, if you cap out at, say, 7 wins... you do not get 1,000 gold worth of stuff. You get 8 packs. You get about 280 dust and about 280 gold, which doesn't. It does amount kind of to 1,000 gold worth of stuff, but not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, exactly. It also depends on how they have, how the searching is going to be for this mode as well, because in Arena it goes based off of so like if you're like 3-0, it'll find an opponent that's 3-0 with you, or if you're 3-1 or 3-2 or whatever your score is, it just means that the person you're pitted against
is as good as you were,
usually has your score,
right?
So you're not sure why they have that score. And some people, they just have such ridiculous decks, you don't understand how they're that bad, how their score turned out that way.
Yeah.
But...
and with Arena, there is a degree of randomness to it. With this, there is no degree of randomness to it, really.
Random is being what you pull.
Exactly. Random is Random is what you would normally experience on the ladder. But, you know, it's a good way to try something new and competitive. So to that degree, I actually don't fault them for doing this. And I will try it out a few times myself. It isn't a mandatory thing. I don't have to do it. So everyone has to keep that in mind when they're debating this, because there is a lot of uproar about this, about it not being worth 1,000 gold and stuff like Kenny's saying. There is a lot of people who share that sentiment with him. You have to realize that this is not a mandatory thing. You, as the gamer, as the person who invests...
Yes, but for people who were striving for also that more competitive feel to it, this was what was meant to be a tournament style, as it states. It's supposed to be. This was quoted from Blizzard, is that it's supposed to feel different. It's supposed to feel more like a tournament, more than Arena was, because Arena was like, well, you can get fucked over by RNG, whereas this, it's your own cards. So you enter a deck or enter a tournament by paying this much money, and you try and make it to the top.
Do you feel that this is a precursor to an actual tournament mode?
This could be possibly a potential framework for it.
Yeah.
And if they worked on maybe converting this into something else, then I could see that possibly being a step in a direction that they could take, which would give it an interesting dynamic to the game for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So
a lot of people since Classic have been calling for a tournament mode, so I think this is their way of like dipping their foot in the water, seeing how a more competitive mode would feel, and how they could do a payout structure that would be comparable to a real tournament.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's pretty interesting. I'm going to give it a shot, and I like the idea of it. I'm on the side that I like it. I know a lot of people have their complaints, but, you know, it is what it is. The internet is very vocal.
Yep, we'll have to see how it works out.
Yeah,
is all.
sure.
A few tests and stuff.
Moving on to the next story. This is kind of a sad story. So, I'm a big fan of Starcraft. I'm a big fan of the grassroots RTS scene, Brood War, you know, the pretty much where eSports was born. And now, ProLeague, Starcraft ProLeague, the longest running eSports league, is being discontinued. There was difficulty in securing sponsors. There was a drop in interest, a drop in the number of teams and players, and just StarCraft in general, the community there is not the popularity that there once was. And unfortunately, a lot of this actually has to do with League of Legends and Dota 2 and those MOBAs that have kind of stolen that scene away. So...
Sorry. Slightly better games.
Hey.
What? I didn't say anything. I heard... Did you hear the wind, Sam? I heard the wind.
It's a good discussion to have. Okay, so I'm gonna say what I need to say. That while I think that they can both exist, I think that StarCraft lends itself to the more hardcore and strategic, and it is also something that I'm a big fan of, where it is one player making a decision and executing on their own play style. And I'm a big fan of that through my Smash, through my Street Fighter, through my fighting game, blah, 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 blah. However, I think that League of Legends and Dota is a more viewer-friendly competitive game, and a more accessible competitive game. Whereas you can jump in, you can feel like you're part of a team. It's a more social aspect.
I mean, they force you, but
they do force you. No, that isn't true, because isn't there a 1v1 League of Legends thing going on, Kenny?
No. Oh no. That's all.
You can 1v1 like your friends, but
yeah, you can custom mode 1v1s, right. And on occasion, during Christmas and stuff, they might throw in the old 1v1 mode that they had, but that's few and far between when that happens. And at that point, the 1v1s are a lot more mechanically intense than the 5v5s. Just because it's then on you, and if that player is any resemblance better than you in mechanical skill, they will 3/4 of the time be able to win no problem.
And that is something that I have always said that I enjoy about competitive gaming, is when one person can show a dominance of skill over another player. Whereas in team games, you often hear that somebody was playing bad, so all the blame gets put on them, and everybody else was playing fucking amazing. And I think that's a cop-out.
Sneaky.
So, no, totally. Take the floor. Tell me what you think about these two games being able to exist together, or do you think that League of Legends deservedly got the spotlight and Starcraft is a thing of the past and we should just forget about it?
Well, when it came,
all I want to say from this is that Neeb broke. He broke everything. He was the only Neeb broke everything with StarCraft, and we move on.
Well, what I feel like kind of bringing up with this is, with League of Legends, or like with StarCraft, yes, it's that 1v1 mentality, which can be nice and bring out some competitives, but the bonding that you get from the team setting of League and Dota is what's made those more popular, just because like it's now you kind of feel a small sense of family.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit more weight on your shoulder, a little bit more competitiveness to perform. And when you kind of have like a bad game, just say, then that's when you feel like, okay, well, no, I need to push myself more. So then when you get to practices, that's what you do, and you grow together as a team. So maybe you had a bad game, one of your teammates could be like, hey, I noticed you had a bad game. Maybe in this game, which they watch afterwards usually most of the time, anyways, and you look back at what you did, and then your teammates can be like, hey, what if you tried, and then give input to whatever play they were looking at, and kind of give you incentive to maybe change just that little bit of a play style and be like, okay, done, cool, and whatnot. But it definitely changes the dynamic of it.
I agree. It's like I was saying, League of Legends definitely became a community. It became a very social, competitive game. Look at Sam with her G3 folk. And everybody there is like a family, like you were saying, Kenny. And people can laugh and joke at any level of play. Bronze or where, like, up to the moon.
Challenger.
Totally. That's exactly what I was going to say. Good job.
Yep, I read you like a book. It's okay. We have telekinesis, man.
No,
telekinesis. Anyway.
But I don't know. It's old versus new, right? So you can argue that MOBAs and stuff like that have been around as long as StarCraft. Warcraft 3 introduced a custom game mode called Dota 1. It's what we know as Dota 1. And
until Dota became a franchise.
Until Dota got picked up by Valve and the same guys were hired on to make the Dota 2. Blah, 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 blah. It is a story for...
Slash Dota 1, because there is an original Dota that is not off Warcraft.
Right. But Dota never really stole the spotlight from StarCraft. They were able to coexist.
Yeah.
And I believe that now that things are becoming more social, you have your Twitches, you have your Facebook groups, you have your Twitters, you have players that you can follow and talk about, and it's the ease of access to a game and to a competitive scene that spells StarCraft's demise. StarCraft has such a barrier to entry that I believe that League of Legends and Dota 2 don't have. And you can talk your way into a community. Whereas in StarCraft, if you don't know what you're saying, you can't get in. You don't feel like family, and you are isolated. You are feeling alone because you're climbing the ladder by yourself. So, to what you're saying, I do agree. It's just a little hint of pang and nostalgia that makes it sad that StarCraft is going this route. So that's my feelings on it. Sam, do you got anything?
I have absolutely nothing. I know nothing about StarCraft. I'm pulling from my lovely Omni friend, and saying that Neeb just broke the entire circuit, and that's why they're shutting down StarCraft. That's my only opinion, and it's not even my opinion. It's my friend's opinion, but I thought it was cool. So,
it's good. It's good. We got someone in the chat. Personally, I believe it's the competitive aspect and the drive that players have to want to climb and improve. So, I think that applies to both games, really.
absolutely.
That StarCraft actually even more so might have had that drive to improve because you were proving it for yourself as opposed to proving it as a team. But in Kenny's argument, you are proving it to your group of 4 other friends that you're willing to get better. So in both games and in both situations, I think that applies. So yeah, good point. I definitely think it's just sad to see it go. That's really where I'm gonna leave that news piece.
Rip.
Yeah, for sure.
Rest in peace.
Moment of
StarCraft.
silence for StarCraft.
For sure. We'll be missed. I know, Kenny, you're a fan of StarCraft just as much as I am. So
I was never big into
the competitive
as
scene.
much into. Oh no, I definitely tried,
Yeah.
but I was never overly a huge, because I know why one friend was a lot better than me, but the only issue was I could never adapt properly enough to scenarios, which is what made me kind of dissuade from it, as well as some of the units that were maybe like in the original game that were really cool and interesting to me that never made it to the second.
Yeah. Brood War was definitely a really cool time to be part of StarCraft.
And then I tried it myself to play the old ones, and it's like, nope, I can't play it. No, I can't. I literally got shit on. So.
Well, you know what? After this podcast, I may go back and watch some of the old Day 9 stuff from back when we used to do StarCraft Brood War stuff. Because those were the days. Moving on to Hearthstone's last call.
Yeah.
So BlizzCon is coming up. I think it's in a couple weeks. It may only be a week away. I wish I had the dates in my notes, but BlizzCon is coming up. Last call just happened for the Hearthstone Europe, Americas, and Asia. We have our winners from all 3.
November 5th.
November 5th. So
4th and 5th.
So not this weekend, but the next one.
Yep.
Gotcha. And yeah, America, Bbgungun, Europe, Pavel, and Asia. I'm going to botch this name. I'm sorry. Cheonsu.
Would you like me to just say it?
Go for it.
Cheonsu.
Cheonsu. Look at that guy. That guy knows what's up with the
I'm
Asians.
not even Japanese. Not even Asian, anyway.
So I'm excited to see what comes out of the BlizzCon championships. It is kind of interesting to note that all of the qualifiers happened at different interesting points of the game. So the winter ones happened before Whispers of the Old Gods even came out, before Standard even came out. The summer ones the spring ones happened just after the Whispers of the Old Gods release, just after the meta got all shaken out. Summer ones happened. Was it just after Karazhan?
I think it was just before Karazhan.
I know that there
Uh,
was a significant point for the summer. I'm pretty sure it was something to do with Karazhan. Anyway, and this last call,
or yes, Karazhan. Sorry, yeah,
yeah,
after Karazhan.
yeah, and this last call happened just after major nerfs to cards, which saw the likes of Yogg Saron get taken down, and other things that really didn't shake the meta. The Tuskar Totemic, I can say, probably did, but and the Rockbiter weapon because you don't see it in any Shaman decks anymore.
Yeah,
But Execute still in Warrior decks,
yeah,
and
it's like key removal.
yeah, exactly. So like, not a lot of stuff happened, but Yogg Saron being taken out was the biggest part of that. So I want to look at some decks that were played in um, the last call. I don't have Bbgungun's deck lists, and I couldn't find them, so sorry. We won't be talking about the Americas ones, but we will be talking about the Europe and the Asia. So on the Europe side, we have Malagos Druid, Tempo Mage, Miracle Rogue, Mid-Range Shaman, of course, and Cthulhu Warrior. We were talking last time we talked about the summers that Cthulhu Warrior was an interesting choice. Do you think that has anything to do with the fact that Yogg Saron got nerfed?
Um, Maybe a little bit, but I mean, most people when they go into matchups anyway, Warrior is almost immediate ban.
Yeah.
Just because most decks don't run the cards that would counter any of the Warrior decks, so they're just like just get rid of the strong contender that can win, just remove it, and then we're good.
Yeah, because Warrior is, if you don't take care of them by a certain point in the game, you're done.
Yeah, because they just stack too much, and then you just can't deal enough damage.
And the Bran into Ancient Shield Bearer or Bran into Twin Emperor Veclor is a very hard combo to counter for most decks.
Yeah,
I'd argue that mid-range Shaman has some good answers to it. Tempo Mage probably has some good answers to it. But, yeah, I definitely agree with you that Warrior is the one that can spiral out of control so fast.
yeah.
What about the other decks? What do you think?
For what he has, for his decks, anyways, in a sense, I think the most value he'll get, as long as he gets the good matchups, for the games, is going to be. We should see a lot of good things come out of his Miracle Rogue, for sure.
Yeah.
That's always been a strong deck, especially with some of the new cards.
No, I wasn't sure which variant of Miracle Rogue he was running, so I'm opening it up right
He
now.
has Swashbuckler and Barnes.
It's the Malagos Miracle Rogue.
Yes, it's
That's pretty interesting. I like that a lot, actually. Because you see a lot of the ones that run the Cold Blood.
Leroy combo, yeah.
Yeah, or Leroy.
But I think just because the Barnes is in there, Leroy is less effective.
That is true, and because Barnes is in there, Malagos proves to be crazy effective.
So does the Auctioneer, because it then gives you a third, in a
Auctioneer.
sense. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I totally get that. Actually, that
It
is
gives
a very good
you
variant.
so much potential with this deck list to pull out lots of strong cards.
Yeah, there isn't very many bad picks in that deck for Barnes to grab.
I literally don't think that the only bad pick in there is Van Cleef.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything else can come out without an issue.
And you kind of hope to have Van Cleef in your early hands, because Van Cleef you can use this early pressure even as a 4/4 or 6/6. He does pretty good. You don't need to make him crazy big. I like to do it, but you don't do it. Especially not in a tournament setting.
No, but I mean, it also depends what you have in hand, right?
Yeah.
So.
And kind of funny, the guy who he went up against ran Totem Shaman, which is an interesting choice, Discard Lock, and mid-range Hunter, which I think are very easily counterable decks. So I think that Pavel's lineup was more solid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, especially in what looks like his Miracle Rogue in the mirror, especially because it looks like his opponent has the Leroy combo.
Yeah.
Over.
Yeah. So maybe it's a stronger variant with Barnes being in standard now is the Malagos Miracle Rogue. I might do a live stream with that Malagos Miracle Rogue. Sounds like fun. Moving on to the Asia, we have, say the name again, Kenny.
Hold on. Chanonsu.
There isn't another N before.
Cheonsu.
Cheonsu running Malagos Druid, mid-range Camel Hunter. What?
This is the funniest deck ever.
Tempo Mage, mid-range Shaman, of course, and N'Zoth Control Warrior. Very weird picks. What is Asia doing?
Okay, so the reason why you put the Camel in, like, Camel literally has to be practically an opening hand.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to predict what you're going to say. Injured Cavaldier?
That's literally the only card it pulls.
No, Fiery Bat.
There is no Fiery Bat in this list.
What is Asia
literally
doing?
Injured Kavar is the best valued 1-drop if it doesn't Battle Cry.
Exactly. It is the Injured Blade Master of Hunter.
Yeah, that's any class. It's not Hunter.
I know, but Injured Blade Master normally gets ran in Priest, whereas Injured Cavaldier you don't see that often in Priest.
Yeah. That's all it pulls, and then everything else is just
mid-range.
Mid-range control.
Yeah.
And sticky boards. And then because of the Tundra Rhino that is running this deck as well,
it's badass.
It gives everything in his deck potential lethal.
That is awesome.
As long as he holds it in hand and plays it as combo.
I'm actually really happy that there's the weird decks showing up in a tournament and winning a tournament. That's awesome.
Oh, and then the Barnes as well can pull any and all of the Death Rattle out of the deck.
Yeah.
Getting possibly three Savannah Highmanes.
Yes.
Like getting a Savannah Highmane on turn 4 is just so good.
So the other interesting one that I saw was the N'Zoth Control Warrior. N'Zoth Control Warrior running Tinkmaster Overspark. What?
Yep.
Are we, like, what set are we playing?
Welcome to Standard, sir.
Apparently, that's not a card you play in a deck anymore. Elise Starseeker, of course. Infested Tarn, I dig. Justicar Trueheart because it's warrior, and why wouldn't you? You dumb person.
Doesn't own it. So, yeah.
Listen, you don't play warrior then.
I fucking do all the time, and I still win, so bite me.
And Cairn and Sylvanas, really the only people who benefit from N'Zoth other than Infested Tarn. And an interesting turn of events, it runs not only 2 brawls, which is kind of par for the course for warriors these days, but it also runs a Doomsayer for those early aggro pushes. Yep. Interesting.
Yep, nope, it's literally a board reset at any given time, because unless they have the answer on the board, what it does is it gives you a turn
exactly
where they have to deal with it.
Exactly. That's what I was
thinking. Which
then
might give you the card you need.
It's either a very early denial of playing any minions because they can't deal with it, or it's a big taunt because you have to deal with it.
Well, the other thing with it being kind of a you can't deal with it early game is it switches turns in a sense.
Yeah.
It's no longer you on the back foot, it's them on the back foot because they have to react to your plays now because the board got cleared on your turn.
I just want to point out a fun combo that you can do. So, if you're ever playing Hearthstone on the ladder, somebody plays a Sylvanas Windrunner. You play a Doomsayer as your only minion on the board, and you kill that Sylvanas. Then you pass the turn. Because then Doomsayer will activate on their turn and just reset the board. It's awesome. It's fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun to give them your Doomsayer and, laugh about it later. Okay, so we have our BlizzCon locked and loaded. That's pretty awesome. I don't have a list of all of them, but BlizzCon will be a really exciting thing to see for all the tournaments that are being ran. The WoW arenas, the Overwatch tournament. Starcraft is still going to be there, so yay.
Well, yeah, they won't be until, I think, the end of this year when they pull it out.
What?
I think.
Starcraft?
For Starcraft, yeah.
BlizzCon is probably always going to have Starcraft just because it's Blizzard.
But on a competitive level, no.
Yeah.
Like, competitive levels will stop after this year. Like, this is the last BlizzCon we will see competitive Starcraft.
Yeah.
For sure.
And Heroes of the Storm. I don't know what my voice did just there.
Do we want the list of the 16 player or 15 players?
Yeah, rock it.
Going?
Let's do it.
Amnesiac.
Yeah.
For America, we have Amnesiac.
Sorry, actually, I want to point out real quick that, and I'm sure everybody knows this before they read or watched this podcast, but you can actually go to the Hearthstone website, pick one of these 16 players that you think is gonna do well, just like League of Legends is League of Legends is doing with their pick'ems. You can pick a player that you think is going to do well, and every time they win a match or a game,
When it's said.
Win a set. No, not even a set. Every time they win at all, you get a pack. So
that's cool.
I picked the only Canadian in there, Sidonia.
Yeah.
But yeah, so for anybody watching this, go pick the Hearthstone player you think is going to do best and win all the packs. Kenny, go.
So, other than Sidonia, who you've also mentioned from America, we also have Hot Meowth.
Yes.
On the Europe side, we have... Oh my god, some people have their names. Vidge, NL.
That's Thice. I believe it's how you say that.
Okay, Thice NL. Nyman, Pavel, and Dr. Hippie.
Yeah.
On the Asian Pacific side, we have that handsome guy.
Fuck yeah.
Yulsik, Cheonsu, and Dida Hyoni.
Totally.
And for China, we have Omega Zero, Hamster, Jason Zhu, and Breath.
Right on.
The 16th player will be found out from the American qualifiers, I guess.
Oh no, the American
no, there's only 3 American teams. There's 3 people on the American side. We need 4.
Did you list Bbgungun?
Oh yes, that's right, BB, who's not on the list.
Yeah. So he was the 16th player.
Yeah.
So that's Hearthstone. Okay, 2 Smash stories, and then we'll get to what you're waiting for, which is League of Legends.
Sam's like, I can't remember the fuck.
That's what you're waiting for. That's what you're here for. Sam's just sitting there playing.
That's what I'm here for.
That's what you're just playing on your phone, waiting until Corey shuts the hell up.
No. I'm looking at things. I'm looking at things that do things with you, but you guys get past things before I can read them. So, anyways, proceed.
Okay.
That didn't sound wrong in any way.
After phrasing just happened.
Sorry.
Hungrybox quits his day job to go full-time Smash. I'm not going to... I had a whole thing in my head where I wanted to talk about when do you think is the right time to go full-time. Hungrybox has been considered a god for like 4 years, and he's still he went to university. He got his degree in chemical engineering, I think, if I can recall correctly. But all the while, he's been using vacation time from his jobs and breaks from school to go play Smash. Now, after the Big House 6, he ran out of vacation hours, and he actually had to decide between Big House 6 and I didn't add this in the notes. He actually had to decide between Big House and Smash Summit, and both are big deals. Mm-hmm. So he decided to use his last vacation time for Big House and quit to go to Smash Summit and Canada Cup and a few other events that are coming up shortly. So yeah, it's kind of weird timing, but he did say that he wanted to put it on the line. He knows he's probably not going to make as much money had he just gone the traditional job route. He says, even if I fail, even if I lose tens of thousands of dollars over the next few years, I want to know what I'm capable of. I touch the ceiling and I want to fucking stay there. That's his exact words. I'm not just swearing because I like.
It's pretty badass.
Yeah. Hungrybox is a beast. He plays the most adorable character in the game, but he himself is a beast.
No, anyway.
You don't like
not
what?
Pichu. It's not Pichu, sir.
Pichu's not more adorable than Puff. Do you want to fight over this? Jigglypuff is...
Pichu is fucking more adorable than a goddamn Jigglypuff.
Okay, Sam, weigh in. Jigglypuff or Pichu?
There's your goddamn votes for this day.
Which one's cuter?
We're gonna put a poll up, and everyone go vote on the fucking poll.
Jigglypuff.
Anybody who's in chat, I don't even know if there is anybody in chat. Puff or Pichu? Go. Anyway,
Puff.
I'm gonna continue on this podcast. This podcast is... Kenny, shut up.
I'm going to fucking straw poll, man. I'm making a straw poll for this shit.
So, it came down between security and following your passion, which is Smash. And he chose his passion. And I think that's rad. If I was in his position and I was considered a god at the game I played, I would probably choose to be full-time that. And he's part of Team Liquid, which is awesome. And, you know, it's... You're playing video games for a living. And I know that a lot of people have commented on that and saying that you're not just playing video games for a living. It is actually hard to remain competitive, to get up on stage, to fly all over the world. It does get taxing on a person, but you have so many people propping you up. You have so many people who are your fans, and you have so many people who watch you just to improve themselves. And it's tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people sometimes. So I think that Hungrybox feels the same way I kind of feel about it, where it is definitely it's a matter of putting your heart into it. I know nobody else has anything to say about it. Kenny's busy.
I'm busy building a shuffle.
Kenny's busy fucking debating Pichu versus Jigglypuff over there.
Yes,
and I'm talking about deep emotional shit.
I will get the nation's goddamn opinion on this.
Nerf Nation. Anyway, moving on to our last Smash story. Something that has been a long time coming. A player who's been playing at a very high level, ranked number 1 in Germany, number 3 in Europe overall, since 2008. Finally got signed by Luminosity. His name is Ice, and I think it's super deserving. This guy had such a good showing at the Big House 6. It was amazing. The only one that I can say that he actually got dominated by was Mango, but he's Cloud9 and he's amazing, so we won't even go there. I'm going to go vote on this straw poll real quick, but props to Ice. Ice had no sponsor, likely due to how difficult it is to sponsor European players. Just look at Leffen and his visa issues. But now Ice is saying that he wants to move to the United States, which is a whole other beast of visa issues. So let's see what happens with Ice and traveling to the States back and forth. The only problem that Leffen ran into was they thought he was smuggling drugs to the States.
Pichu wins, bitch. Pichu's winning.
How's Pichu winning?
66% Pichu, 2 votes.
No! There's only 3 votes! Sam, what did you do?
What did I don't know. What am I supposed to do something?
Vote. Sam didn't vote. That's based off my Facebook and my Twitter right now. And on Facebook, it's to everyone.
Oh, alright. I'm
It's
going
to
to post
the
this
world,
on
man.
Twitter. Okay, somebody launch into Worlds. I'm posting this on Twitter right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Well, other than the pick'ems, which we're not allowed to talk about.
Now talk about them.
I only lost one. Okay.
I lost more than one. I only lost on Albus Nox?
Yeah, that's the only one I lost on.
Because I decided to pick like you, and I was like, I should have just stayed on the. Oh, I lost on the EDG game. EDG versus Rocks. I've lost on that pick, and I lost on the H2K versus Albus pick.
So I'm doing better than you.
But I'm at 64 points because my group stages were better.
Damn it. Anyways.
You have to literally pick the world champion aside from me, and I think you would win. How many points you at right now?
SKT.
Yeah, how many points you at?
SKT is going to win the whole thing. I'm at 62.
It's 50-50. Anyway.
Oh my god.
I know, because I went to go vote.
60 fucking 4 points. Oh Jesus, we're tied. We're really fucking close. So those 2 extra points I got in the group stages fucking is floating me through this.
Yeah, those 2 extra points. Anyway,
yes.
rip my pick'ems. Not rip my pick'ems.
Somewhat rip, but regardless.
You said your pickups sort of survived.
Sort of survived. My Hearts pick'ems didn't survive. My Hearts pick'ems got crushed.
Yeah.
But my real pick'ems actually survived. But mostly quarters played out to be expected. Cloud9 dropped the ball. It took less than an hour for Samsung to systematically destroy their hopes and dreams.
Yeah.
At least they did did C9 the benefit of like ripping it off like a band-aid.
That is true. That's a good way to put it.
I'm looking at my notes and I'm going, these were actually really, really like good digs at myself, but we're not going to go into that. Not so quick, but super dirty ANX versus H2K. Literally can't even talk about this matchup because ANX could have done so many things so much better. And it kind of traumatized me.
They did really well in group stages, didn't they?
In group
They
stages,
did extremely well through group stages, but their quarters, let's just let the Jace that's been bodying our entire team for the last 2 games, let's let him through a 3rd time because we don't mind getting fucked in the ass.
Not even that. No, not even that. It's also the point that they showed no adaptability to team comp whatsoever because they stuck with the same team for 3 games straight.
Me and Kenny were talking about this. Isn't it a point of how they play in a best of 1 versus how they play in a best of, what was it, 5?
Yeah,
best of 3.
Oh, this is best of 3.
This for quarters was best of 3s. Semis
was best of 5s.
Yeah.
Right? Am I wrong about that?
No, it's best of 5s.
Okay. No, best of 5 because they went Cloud9 went 0-3. It was all best of 5. Kenny, stop messing me up.
Good, you're paying attention. Wonderful.
Yeah, that's totally what you're doing.
We're engaging him this time.
Exactly, that's the whole point.
So that's the point. Is that they might struggle in longer sets, whereas group stages were a best of 1.
Right.
Just one and done, and yeah.
And you're good.
Yeah.
So obviously ANX has something that they can look forward to. But that being said, they had an amazing run. They're the first international wildcard team to even make it to this far in the competition. So
yay to them.
I think they're a team to watch next year, especially Liquid. And a Miracle. That duo lane is amazing.
Maybe that's a new team that Sammy fangirls about.
I'm going to fangirl all over their face because They're
weird.
league players and
Context
Russian.
anyway.
And those are two things that I just can't ignore anymore. I can't. I have to follow them all season. I have to.
Cool.
Puff's winning.
We're gonna.
What?
Puff's
Fuck it.
winning.
Damn it! I will make sure Pichu wins this year. So
Moving on.
Yeah.
SKT in true SKT fashion rolled over rolled over RNG. But RNG did happen to take a game off of them. Everything went as expected. So that was quarter semis. I didn't actually watch semis because I wasn't interested in watching the Korean teams steamroll over Korean teams and H2K.
Well,
H2K
So,
H2K has this saying after all of their games, H2 what H2K? H2 what H2 Korean teams are entering.
it's okay.
Finals.
Yes. Yeah. However, I did watch the SKT versus Rocks games.
That was
SKT
apparently impressive.
Almost fucking threw it.
which would have
I
been
saw that.
the upset of the century.
Oh yes, but it's the reason why it would have been an upset. It would have been more of an upset. Was it because that SKT was the world favorites coming in here?
Yeah.
It would have been the fact that Rocks Tigers never got the chance to to prove to the world they could beat SKT in Champion Summer because KT Rolster beat them.
Yeah.
And having a track record with SKT of only winning out of all their best of fives that they have ever played against SKT, a total of 6 games, I think they said, 5 or 6 games on cast, over all the best of fives, and they've never 3-0 clean sweeped SKT. It would have been the first clean sweep, I think, other than Samsung or for Rocks Tigers against this apparently team that just always beat them. And the fact that they had Bengi first game.
They subbed him, didn't they?
Did really good first game. Yes, they subbed him in game 2 for Blank. Blank went in. What I think screwed them over in game 2 with the change to Blank was that weird support MF pick to counter the Zyra pick.
I'm an 80 carry main. I love
Yeah.
MF. I love Ashe. I love Jinx.
Oh,
So,
you want to know what the funny part was? That bot lane was Ashe MF.
Yes. Yeah. So 2 of my favorite 80 carries, I was notified that everybody on my community chat was screaming my name going, you can't say you can't play support anymore because you can just take MF bot. And I'm like, I'm not taking MF bot. That's ludicrous. And then this game happened.
Yeah, which now is getting priority bans from, especially in Samsung Galaxy's games, it was getting banned in there as well.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are prioritizing that Zyra, and now that they found out that the counterpick to Zyra is an MF, well, that just changed a lot of things, especially because no one went to Kennen. In all 8 games. In all 8 games in these semis, not a single Kennen pick was taken.
Wow.
Ashe was prioritized almost first picks in 2 of SKT and Rock Tiger games. And a Nidalee even went through in one of the SKT versus Rock Tiger games, in game 4 actually.
Yeah.
When Bang had come back in. Because game 2-3 was Blank, and then they took Blank back out for Bengi, who saved their shot at going to the finals. And yeah, Bang played out of his mind. He 3-0'd Rocks Tigers, in a sense, as the pastor said, and he just did an amazing job, especially with his Nidalee and his Lee Sin.
Yeah. Like I said, I didn't watch them. I was not happy. I had a date with tequila instead. Either way.
And Sammy is having a syndrome that I like to attribute to my Street Fighter watching. I haven't been interested in most of the Street Fighter V ongoings this year because of the dominance of the Asias, Japan and Korea. So I know how you're feeling with two Korean teams making it into finals.
I mean,
Or
like H2K was the last Western
it's not
hope,
too
and
Korean.
they still didn't even do well.
Samsung
So
isn't Korean, are they?
Samsung,
Who?
yes.
Are they
Yes.
Korean?
Samsung's in Asia.
I thought
Samsung?
Samsung was Japanese.
It's
Oh.
still in the general area of Asia,
Anyway,
even though Asia has like 3 fucking pro scenes.
not being able to root for an underdog or not being able to root for at least your continent does put a damper on the viewing experience. And having I'm sure Riot probably knows this by now, having it hosted in the Americas and none of the American teams making it to grand finals, it is going to hurt their watching experience, even though they're probably going to have the biggest turnout they've ever had and blah 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 blah.
well, even like no, but like if we made it past knockouts, even if we made it past knockouts, I would have been okay with that. But we didn't make it past knockouts,
Yeah.
and we dropped the ball for two of our teams. Like CLG shouldn't have even been there. TSM has a habit of choking on the world stage, and C9 was really the only logical choice for like an actual hope. And even they looked really shaky in quarters.
Yeah.
So when the NA squad, the NA pro circuit can't stand up on the world stage after group stages, you gotta kind of look at, why are we hosting this?
Yeah.
When we have a habit of choking on the world stage, why are we hosting this?
It's sort of an embarrassment, right? Because you're like,
Yeah,
this is our year. This is our year to host it, so this is our year to prove
it
it.
looks like our year.
And then you put up the teams that shouldn't be there, that have a habit of making bad appearances in these settings, and you're putting all the weight on the backs of one team to pull out through the world's champion that was 2 years running. Am I right about that?
Yes.
SKT won in season 2, season 5.
And not only that, but very dominant teams from that region in general, Samsung Galaxy, and you also have your teams
And
that
Rock
are
Tigers.
yeah, and you're also having your teams that are showing that they're improving, like your Alice Knoxes and your I can't even think of the other team that I was going to say. The one that I
Well,
was really impressed with when I was watching games. But
you were impressed with Flash Wolves.
yeah, and even though they did horribly, it still goes to show that putting all your weight on the backs of one team to pull through such hefty competition, you should know by now that you're shooting
On
yourself
home
in the foot.
soil.
Yeah,
On
you
home
should know
soil. Like
you're-
it was fine last year when they were in Korea.
yeah, because you knew
obviously.
Korea was going to win.
We all knew Korea was going to win anyway.
Yeah,
Well, then
But-
that brings up the same argument as 4 years ago, or in 2000, in season 2, when they again didn't, I guess, perform, and that was before Cloud9 because it was
Yeah.
in America in 2012.
And
So.
I don't remember who won that one, but I remember that it was
That
done
was-
in under an hour, and you get all hyped to go to the Staples Center, and you are there for less than an hour. That's less than a sporting
SKT
event.
Again. It was SKT.
Was that SKT?
Yes,
Yeah.
that was
Okay,
SKT's
so-
first win. They didn't win season 3. They didn't win season 4, but they won season 5.
so they've won
And
this
this'll
thing
be-
3 times.
If they win this year,
If they win
it'll
this
be
year,
third.
and they will.
And
They will.
Samsung, if Samsung wins, this is Samsung's second.
My God,
Bull. It's complete bull. Like
Uh,
we can cheer and be like hypercritical of every other team, but it comes down to the fact that we need better
Yeah, it does seem like
players.
a sad
Well,
time to be a league player in North America.
It's
not
always been
maybe
a
not
sad
maybe
time to be
just
a league player.
not maybe as much of a sense as better players, more of players that can adapt easier
Yeah.
to changes, to different styles of play. But that's the other issue. When you have a team that's in North America all year, North America is set to a semi-particular style, same as Europe is, and same as.
There's still
it's
Korea boot camp twice a year.
well,
Oh yes, I know there's still Korea boot camp twice a year, but that's only once or twice that they go to it, and it's not a year-round thing like them staying in their own type, meaning they're not as pressured against those some of those hyper-aggressive Asian comps, or they're not so used to playing by the book as some teams like SKT is, that it puts them back a little bit.
All League needs to do is open trans-regional for the pro teams, at least.
I was actually going to ask that. So, in StarCraft,
They don't.
in StarCraft, the way to get good was to play on the Korean servers.
You can't.
You literally changed your location on your BattleNet client or however you did it back in the day, and you logged
You can
on
still
to
do it.
Yeah, you can still do it. And you log on to the Korean servers and you play against Korean players. That's how North America stayed competitive in StarCraft. Why doesn't League let you do that? If they see that the Asians are clearly dominating their game, they should.
You have to go there,
Yeah,
I think.
but you should be able to. You should open it up and, like you're saying, make it available to your North.
I know I lost video. I don't know why.
His video's dead.
I'm
The
sorry it
issue,
died.
I think, the issue with that then comes to connectivity issues.
Yes.
Yeah,
That's the biggest reason why.
I get that.
Because then you get into just say a ranked game and you're having lag issues. Well, now you just potentially lost that game for those players just because you can't play at your optimal settings.
Yeah, uh, it is kind of a difficult because with StarCraft it wasn't really that big of a deal. Blizzard had great servers on both ends, North America and Korea. And
Exactly, where Riot only has a headquarters in North America only. They have small little remote servers that are closer to certain regions within America, if I'm
Yeah.
correct.
and you're also
that they can
accounting
connect
for
to.
10 players
Exactly.
connecting to
Where,
those servers, whereas in StarCraft it's 2.
yeah.
So that is the point there. Sam, are you coming
Up.
back?
I'm back.
No, you're not.
Nope.
I'm
Video
back.
died again. Video's not up.
It's showing video up on mine.
Nope.
Skype, no! We almost made it through the podcast.
Skype has failed us.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Skype
well,
senpai, please.
let's close this out without Skype, because Skype is bullshit. Anything else that you guys want to say about the upcoming finals, or your feelings overall as we're closing out this league-centric month?
Other than it being going to be a whole lot of, I guess, who plays more by. Does Samsung put the pressure on to SKT to play a faster game, or do SKT just wrap Samsung around their finger and make them play by the books?
What would you
I
prefer?
mean-
Um,
I want to fight.
I think everybody wants a fight.
An explosive game is definitely would be nice.
Yeah.
But depending on how much reaction SKT has to do, because SKT, as the casters said themselves, is a very big reactionary team.
Yeah.
So, like, if they see you do a play, they will usually react by doing a different play that'll give them a bigger advantage than what you're getting, potentially. Sometimes it backfires, but It all depends on the shot calling and stuff. But yeah, it'll definitely come down to how the pick and ban. I almost think each game will almost be decided by pick and bans alone.
Mm-hmm.
No, definitely.
That makes sense to me.
Especially on what priority picks are decided to be kept first.
I feel like they're pretty evenly matched on a macro scale. So
yes,
it really just depends on the small advantages, the macro play, and the picks.
Mm-hmm.
Well, sad time to be a league watcher in North America, but
Or player.
I personally am not overly have much of an issue because I find I just learn more.
Yep. I was actually having this conversation before the podcast started. I don't get mad when I lose. I just want to learn, and I think that's the best thing that Cloud9, TSM, and who was it, CLG, can take away from losing on their own home turf is that they have to pay attention. They have to open their eyes. They have to watch these. They have to study these videos of why the hell they're losing so badly. They have to adapt their play style to accommodate Korean players, to accommodate the odd play styles of certain teams, and show up next year dominant.
Mm-hmm.
But they need to do it consistently because the meta's going to shift. Because they're playing on a completely different field than what we are right now as an actual league player.
They're 3 patches behind us.
Yeah. And they're going to be even further behind us by the time Pro Circuit starts up again. So,
Boy,
no.
If only Street Fighter played with those rules.
No, they will probably start up maybe 1 patch behind us at most.
Yeah.
Once it starts up, they'll be caught up by that point for the most part.
Right, but with the patches, how they fall with Korean play and the LPL and the LMS.
Korea is always 2 patches behind. North America.
So
always.
Still, what I'm saying is
we're watching. Yeah.
Mentally, they have to show up ready to be dominant.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter about the mechanics because the mechanics they do play a role, but it is how the team works as a whole and how they go into the game ready to react to SKT's plans, to Samsung Galaxy's plans, to all of the teams that they're struggling against. They have to be ready to react, just like SKT is a very reactionary team. They have to take some hints.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
2-time
sure.
world champion doesn't happen for no reason. Anyway, closing out this podcast, I'm refreshing the results of the straw poll we started back in this mass discussion.
It's still not over. It's gonna. I'm having this go until next stream. Therefore, the final results will be announced then.
Well, then I'm gonna share it. I'm gonna share the shit out of it.
I'm going
That's
to
the
announce
whole point.
what they're at right now.
Out.
And in the description of this video on YouTube, it's already been posted in the live stream, so if you're watching live, congratulations, you can participate. If you're watching this on YouTube, the link in the description is the link to a straw poll. It's the most important question we've ever asked on this podcast. Who is cuter? Pichu
Jigglypuff or Pichu?
Exactly. Right now, Jigglypuff is winning with 4 votes to 3. It's such a lie. It's such a close race. But I think that the results are showing. It's like the President of the United States, except more important than that. And that's where I'm going to leave this episode of the Nerf This podcast. Thank you for joining. We're sorry that Sam can't wave goodbye, but she's there in spirit.
I'm here. Goodbye.
Here, I'll wait for her.
No. Okay, put your hand a little bit more over.
Oh, are we doing?
Yeah, because you can actually
That way?
reach. Nope, the other one.
It's my left. Oh, this way.
Yep, you can actually reach into her screen. Wonderful.
Cool. We're good. She's
Thank
waiting.
you.
I think.
I violated. Anyway.
Thank you for watching, everybody. Goodbye.
Have a good night, everyone.